common knowledge that there is a price to pay for name and fame. Some say it's the long working hours and erratic schedule. Others say it's the compromise on family time. But what is most uncharitable and a downside to being a celebrity in this country is perhaps the intrusion to privacy. And in this case, it's simply not okay to say that's the price you pay for fame, because there are supposed to be rules in place. There's supposed to be certain decorum maintained. Look at this picture. This is from that meeting that Ranbir Kapoor and Alia Bhatt had to have with the paparazzi, along with Neetu Kapoor, to literally request them, to beg them not to click pictures of their child, of their newborn Raha. The celebs asked the paps not to click Raha's pictures till she's at least 2 years old. So that is the kind of initiative now some actors are taking to actually approach the paparazzi to make sure that they are not harassed and hounded. Now, it doesn't really stop at voyeurism and stalking. It has come to a situation where celebrities are hounded and harassed, not just physically, but also online. So now Delhi Women's Rights Body has issued a notice to the city police seeking registration of FIR against people for misogynistic social media posts targeting wives and daughters of cricketers MS Dhoni and Virat Kohli. So the Delhi Women's Commission has also in fact taken suo motu cognizance of certain social media posts that have targeted 2-year-old and 7-year-old daughters of renowned cricketers Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni. They have been at the receiving end of these ugly trolls. These posts on social media platform are obscene, misogynistic, extremely abusive, both towards the children and the mothers. So the commission has now demanded that an FIR be filed and the accused be identified and arrested. DCW has also demanded action and information in the case latest by the 16th of January. Now, what the DCW chief has done is posted 2 blurred screenshots, if we can put that out as well, 2 screenshots of the social media post that has triggered this particular notice to the Delhi Police Cyber Cell. Some accounts are making nasty comments by posting pictures of the daughters of 2 big players of the country, Virat Kohli and Dhoni, on Twitter. She asked, how can someone say such nasty things about little children? So that's the story. In terms of stalking and bullying, the cases have seen a meteoric rise over the last few years. Take a look at these numbers that we have for you on how these cases have been on the rise. Cyber crimes against women, 10,730 cases in year 2021. Cases reported, 1,176. Cases charge sheeted, 425. Cases convicted, only 2. So this is NCRB data from last year. Let me introduce, joining me here on the program, N.S. Napinai, advocate of the Supreme Court of India and founder of Cyber Sathi, Khushbu Jain, lawyer of the Supreme Court, and also Nasir Abdullah, actor. Thank you so much for joining us here on Mirror Now. It's a pleasure to have you with me. What I want to begin by asking, in fact, to each one of you, that, you know, what happens typically in this case, and I'll cite this instance of what happened to way back in 2021, Virat Kohli's 10-month-old daughter was given a rape threat on Twitter on 10th of November, to be precise. The person who was accused was arrested on 11th November last year. He was produced before the court. The public prosecutor told the court that he had constantly changed his profile name on social media to troll the cricketer. That's the level people go to, by the way. They use multiple different IP addresses. In this case, he was remanded to police custody. He then applied for bail. In his bail plea, the accused said that the charges against him were not punishable with death or even life imprisonment. Further investigation was needed to determine if he had posted the rape threat at all. So anyway, the case that I'm trying to bring, and I think Ms. Napinai will be able to tell us here, that why is it that there is absolutely no deterrence? And are we even surprised that the troll armies, the bullies, are having a field day? They don't realize the kind of, the cost that it has on the mind of the person who's at the receiving end.
Absolutely right. And there are multiple reasons for it. The first and foremost is whenever somebody is posting online, there is a disassociation with respect to what they think they are saying and the impact it has on the victim. Somehow, when we speak to a digital medium, we seem to think that this has nothing to do with the human victim. it's very important to understand that there is a human on the other side, and it is not a victimless crime. It is indeed a crime, and it is a victim. There is a victim on the other side. Ultimately, when we talk about deterrence, fear is a good deterrence. And that fear is caused if you have a specific law or a provision which says, if you do this, this will be the consequence that will ensue. Meaning, if you commit bullying, trolling, tweeting nastily like this, etc., you will be punished with X imprisonment or fine, etc. So then a person knows what they should not do. Yes. Unfortunately, today, what the situation is one, victims think they have no remedies, which is incorrect, because in the mode and manner in which bullies function, the way the bullying happens, you do have remedies and law, so please avail of them. Because what the provision says is what matters, not the heading. On the other hand, where the criminals are concerned, because you don't have a law specifically saying this kind of action is a criminal offense, yes, they don't realize and they think they're going, it's a free ride. So after the effect, if we have to keep running after them, and if celebrities are having trouble, imagine the plight of common people like you and I. And yes, unfortunately,
but the lacunae in law, that is one aspect of it. I will come to Khushbu Jain for that, but I want to go across to Nasir Abdullah to, help us understand that when it comes to the price to pay, there would be many who would say, well, you've got the name, the fame, the glory, you'll have to take a little bit of this, it comes with the territory. I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, Mr. Abdullah.
Okay, you don't have to take it, but I guess there isn't a choice. But nobody can say to us that you have to take it because you are so-and-so. It is unfair, it is wrong, you have the stalking happening, which is very, very, very frightening, but that's another story. And the paparazzi are like that in Hollywood, like 15 years ago, Michael Douglas and his wife are on their beach house, and there is this, small aircraft like, a kite with the photographers wanting to put the zoom lens on them or to take their photos. So it's been happening for a long time. It is unfair at times when it goes so far. I don't know what is the reason to say things to a person who has nothing to do with doing anything wrong. So why do they accuse and abuse? It is a way, it is, I don't know, it could be the sick mind, but I will tell you, I've been told, I'm not famous really. I'm not at all. But I've had, of course, because I stick to a line of my argument. I speak from the heart. I don't speak for any party, a political party, or anything about the movies, etc. But I defend the people I want to, and I speak from the heart. Then I have these, the messages on the Facebook with horrendous expletives in Hindi,
Yes.
Mother this, and sister this, and whatever. And, I don't know. So I have actually taken a photo of them, and I have kept them with me in case one day somebody actually wants to harm me. So I can at least inform the cops, look, I have been recording this. So this has been happening whenever I do a debate, especially in Hindi. I have these horrible guys saying horrible things to me. I'm as old as their dad, most probably. I don't know what they look like. They have a face, and they have something at the back. They are normally right-wingers or whatever, I don't know. But I speak from the heart, and sometimes I get aggressive about my point of view. But that is even happening to me. Someone like me who's only speaking from the heart because
Yes.
they don't agree with my opinions. So it is dicey, and it is unfair,
Yes.
and it should be punished, and the cops should make sure that they arrest the people who traumatize them like this. It is not fair, it is not nice for innocent people to be actually terrorized with this stuff. It's
Day in
highly
and day
unfair.
out, and the level of it is only getting lower and lower. Khushbu Jain, we are talking about little children here. The fact that the DCW was prompted to send this message was after coming across tweets targeted at 2- and 7-year-old children of celebrities. So, what is it that really can stop this in our country? And we have to, at times, we may say they are powerful people, they're celebrities, they have all the money in the world to fend for themselves. But these are issues we also need to talk about because it could affect the mindsets. It sets a culture as well in this country, a wrong one.
See, I absolutely agree with the earlier two panelists here, but I would come on the point that why this is coming and why people think that, it's easy to commit crime online. It's because maybe the part that you're being given right to privacy there and your freedom of speech comes into play. And when you talk about anonymity and that shield which has been given by the law enforcement, by these platforms on the internet, which makes you think that you can go scot-free. And there have been stances where chances of arresting the culprit who are misbehaving online are very low as compared to others. So this shield which has been there with these people is what is giving liberty to people that we can commit crime online. We can say what we practically cannot say on the face in the physical world can be said online because I'll be scot-free. Once I go scot-free, second time, third time, it's easy for me to, increase the level of crime which I would commit on internet because I would not be punished first. The second that comes is the definitions which are there today, even if I pick up hate speech or other aspects, they are very broad, vague in terms of laws and are often invoked for its misuse. There's a lower conviction rate of these provisions that indicate that there is something called as process where either vagueness and the process, these two are also a difficulty over there. And the places where there are law, I'm saying that it is being shielded by the intermediaries. I think all these three instances are giving leeway or are encouraging the criminals to go and commit online crimes. Now, especially now when we're talking about children and women, these two aspects are the one which are always neglected physically. Also in the physical world, I think Mira now has been very vocal in talking about women's safety physically, and so comes the online safety of women and children. These are the two aspects which are very serious, which are very heinous if you look into it, and at the same time, these are the one which are happening not just in India but across globe. If I may quote one instance of one statement issued by the FBI, which says that because of shielding of these criminals online, the moment we try to catch the first one is in the state of committing the 10th crime. That kind of process driven it has become, which makes it difficult for us to catch it, and by the time we catch it, the 10th crime has been committed because it feels that he can go scot-free. So I think it's high time that we need to address all the three aspects. One is definition, the second is to lower the vagueness into the definition, the second is conviction aspect of it, and the third is giving them shield and making more understanding with respect to what is your right to privacy, others' right to privacy, and what are the restrictions to your freedom of speech and expression. I think hand in hand, all these things
freedom
together.
of expression, what surprises me, Ms. Napina, is that the Supreme Court at one point, of course, it struck down Section 66A, punishment for sending offensive messages through a computer or any other electronic device of the Information Technology Act in 2015. Protecting the freedom of speech and expression of Indian citizens. There exists laws in India which protect people from becoming victims of online harassment. So is it a tightrope walk then somewhere? Because again, we are the ones, and I would have to say that we are the ones always championing the cause for free speech as well.
Absolutely right. And that tightrope walk is what law is always expected to do. Because unlike in the US and India, free speech is not an unfettered right. You do have limitations which are supposed to be reasonable restrictions on free speech. So in a similar situation, because we drew 66A from a UK law,
yes,
where also it was abused. In fact, one person sent a threat to the airport authorities. In that situation, the courts asked the police to delineate between parody or satire or somebody just saying it as rhetoric as opposed to an actual threat, and they struck down the abuse of the Malicious Communications Act provision instead of striking down the section itself. So even with respect to 66A, one, if government had acted quickly, we would have had a specific law dealing with these kind of bullies. Two, if the court also had exercised some balance, then the baby would not have been thrown out with the bathwater.
Bathwater, exactly. Right. My humble submission is
its abuse was wide, and that resulted in it getting struck down.
Yes, that's right. My humble submission is, can we have the the social media giants held accountable at any point? Because they are putting it out there. It's a public platform. and you know, it spreads the hate, in some cases maybe there is angst that as citizens we need to express, but this is the other kind of hate we are talking about. Nasir Abdullah, quick closing comments to you, please.
Yeah, I think the police have actually evolved greatly in being able to arrest the perpetuators of these hate crimes and all this other stuff, and the trolling, and also looting the people. And I have heard that they've really gone up many notches in being able to apprehend the guys who do anything, happen to also cheat you of your whatever funds. But I think it would be useful for the police to make an announcement and actually send an SMS to every mobile holder that, look, if you do this, you're in deep trouble. So I think a threat has to be issued, an announcement has to be made to all of them, and it's a simple exercise. And at least then the cops will say, we warned you. And now, if you are going to do it
chief is
despite the
doing
warning,
here,
you will
and
get
maybe,
a
you know,
strict
some
amount of
credit must be
punishment.
given where it is due, that the women's rights body in the right earnest has approached the Delhi police cyber cell in these two cases. Khushbu Jain, I want you to just comment on this aspect that I raised about whether the social media giants can be held accountable. Can they be just putting out any kind of rubbish and get away with it? Are they also not responsible?
Absolutely, they are. With the new intermediary rules that has come up, I think that's where we have drawn the line that they have to share who is the originator or who's the one who has done it in specific crimes, wherever, you know, punishment is more than 5 years, is where they are forced to share details and take down. And there are certain other measures that following, if our law enforcement agencies are following due process, they are bound to share details of those people. And once they are aware, they have a knowledge that something has happened. Despite that, if they don't take it down, then the safe harbor protection will be taken away from them, and they will be considered as any other normal party, and they can also be actions can be taken against them as any other person. So in a nutshell, if they don't comply with the Indian laws, the new rules specifically mandates that their safe harbor protection will be taken away from them.
Absolutely. And let's hope that there is more stringency in implementing these rules as well. N.S. Napinai, Khushbu Jain and Nasir Abdullah, thank you so much for joining us here this evening.